Improve your listening and speaking while you follow along with a relaxing story. Give the video a like and hit that subscribe button so you never miss our future stories. How do you fight with a voice inside your head that whispers, "You will never understand this language"? And how do you turn that same voice into proof that you can? That was the question Lina carried with her every morning when she opened her laptop and stared at the glowing screen. She wasn't in a classroom. She wasn't surrounded by classmates. She was alone, sitting at her small wooden desk with a cup of tea and a notebook filled with messy handwriting. And yet she was also not alone, because in her mind there was always that voice, the voice of doubt, the voice of fear, the voice that made her feel like she knew nothing. But here's the thing about Lina. She didn't stop. She couldn't stop, because she wanted something bigger than silence. She wanted clarity. And so her story became a dance between confusion and understanding, between giving up and pushing through. She started with videos, simple English lessons on the internet, the kind with bright backgrounds and cheerful voices saying, "Repeat after me." At first, Lina tried. "Repeat after me," the teacher said, and she repeated. But then came the wall of words, new words, strange words, words that looked familiar but sounded different. She would pause the video, write them down, play it again, still wrong, and then the voice inside her head returned. "See, you can't even say this one word. How will you ever learn the whole language?" One night, Lina read about a method from language research. It said, don't just read words, connect them with images, with feelings, with movement. So instead of staring at the page, she began acting them out. "Wave," she whispered, and she waved. "Smile," she whispered, and she smiled. The words weren't strangers. They were alive. Her brain started to remember not just the sound, but the feeling. For the first time, the wall of words looked less like a wall and more like a door. But then came grammar, rules and exceptions, past tense, present perfect, articles, a or the. Lina felt like she was standing in a maze with no map. She wrote sentences, crossed them out, tried again and again and again. Each mistake felt heavy. The voice inside her laughed. "Even children know this better than you." She almost closed her notebook that day. Almost. But she remembered another study she had read. The brain learns grammar better when it's hidden in stories, not when it's forced. So she stopped drilling rules. Instead, she began listening to podcasts and writing small diary entries about her day. She didn't say, "Today I study grammar." She said, "Today I write a story about my tea." The rules began to appear inside the sentences without her asking, and one evening, as she reread her notebook, she realized she hadn't thought about the rules, but she had used them correctly, without fear. The maze still had twists, but now she had a map. Reading was one thing, writing was another, but speaking felt like walking onto a stage with no script. Lina could hear the words in her mind, perfect, clean, confident. But the moment she opened her mouth, they escaped as broken pieces. She tried to speak to the mirror. She tried to record her voice. Each time she heard the mistakes louder than the words themselves. She whispered, "I will never sound natural." Then she discovered a method called shadowing. Instead of just repeating after a video, she spoke at the same time as the speaker. She copied not just the words, but the rhythm, the pauses, the music of the language. At first she stumbled, but slowly her tongue began to follow her ear. Her rhythm changed. Her sentences no longer felt like broken stones, they flowed. She didn't sound perfect, but she sounded alive. And for the first time, when she listened to her own voice, she smiled. But confidence in private is one thing, confidence in public is another. When she joined her first online speaking group, Lina froze. Her camera was on. Other learners looked at her. Her turn came. Her heart pounded. The voice screamed louder. They will laugh. They will see you are weak. Her mouth stayed shut. The next week she tried again. This time one of the learners smiled and said, "Don't worry. Just say something small." Lina said one sentence. Just one? No one laughed. They nodded, encouraged. The next week she said 2 sentences, then 5, then 10. She learned another truth. Mistakes did not destroy her, they connected her. Every error became a bridge. She was not weak, she was growing. The fear of others became the sound of belonging. Weeks turned into months. Progress came, then it slowed. Her vocabulary stopped growing. Her sentences felt the same. She thought, maybe this is it. Maybe I cannot go further. The voice returned, you will stay here forever. She learned about spaced repetition, reviewing words at the right time, not all at once. Each day, old words returned, mixed with new ones. Slowly, her vocabulary stretched wider. She paired it with real conversations, with real mistakes, with real laughter. She realized language is not a straight climb. It is a mountain with plateaus, and every plateau hides another path upward. She was not stuck, she was climbing. But learning a language is not only about words, it is about identity. Lina began to wonder, who am I when I speak English? Am I the same Lina or someone different? In her own language, she felt precise, deep, full of emotion. In English, she felt smaller, simpler, quieter. Was that still her? The voice inside whispered, "You are fake, you are less." But then she remembered a story from her reading. Language does not replace identity. It adds to it. It is like holding 2 mirrors. One shows one side of your face. The other shows another. Both are you. Both are real. Both are needed. She was not losing herself in English. She was finding another self, one that could connect with people she would never meet otherwise. And that was not fake. That was powerful. But now the voice has changed. It no longer whispers, "You will never understand." It says, "You have come this far, keep going." Because Lina has learned something simple, something true, something unforgettable, confusion is not the enemy. Confusion is the first step to clarity. Each mistake, each doubt, each pause, it is not proof of weakness. It is proof of growth. And if you listen closely, you can almost hear her smile as she says, "Every moment of doubt led me here." And here is where clarity begins.